Welcome back to Chess for Closers. Dave Sherman here. I want to show you a game I played with Emery Tate. First, I want to tell you a story. A long time ago, when my rating was USCF 1950 or so, I was paired in the Summer Chess League here in Washington, D.C. against a master. I had the black pieces, and I played an opening that involved no tactics, just getting our pieces out, no complicated variations, no calculating. By move 25, my 2250 opponent had to resign. There were very few pieces exchanged. He wasn't down in any in material. He couldn't make another move. He was so tied up. That was the last match of the Summer League. And what do you know, the first match of the Winter League, I was paired with the same guy. Our ratings were the same. I played the same opening, and he played the same variation. He varied, of course, soon after that. Before move 25, and again with very few pieces exchanged, and again no tactics, no calculating, he had to resign, and he was sick about it. He wasn't happy the first game either. He outrated me by 200 points, and he didn't make 30 moves. And again, you know, when you're playing a much stronger player in some tactical Sicilian where you're booked up, and he happens to not know the theory and somehow makes a mistake, and you can pounce. This happens, of course, not very often. Hadn't happened to me very often. But in a position where there's nothing special going on, and it's positional understanding that's going to hold sway, you wouldn't expect this to happen. And it happened twice to this fella, and I haven't seen him in years. Maybe that was the game that caused him to quit chess. Anyway, I want to show you this opening. I guarantee, to the extent that means anything, if your rating is a few hundred points short of 2,000, this opening will gain you 200-300 points. I'm not speaking hyperbolically here. I truly believe this, and it did it for me. And then in the meantime, I learned a lot about endings, and playing endings well got me to master level. So I highly recommend this opening, and I'm going to show it to you in one of the next shows here. Okay, let me show you my Emery Tate game. I had the white pieces. It was from 2009, I think. Yeah? Okay. So we played a King's Indian. I played a King's Indian reversed, and I got my... Well, we'll talk about openings. I got my openings mixed up. I thought I was playing the reversed Yugoslav variation of the King's Indian defense. And it was similar, but there was a major difference. And that caused a certain dilemma. Okay, so the computer thinks I'm taking the reverse side of an opening, and so... because black has the bigger pawn center, they give black point 11. And e4, they don't like that. Now it's at minus 30 for me. So Emery ignored it. He didn't concede anything. And now I play the first move that the computer really didn't like. I played knight c3 because I liked locked pawn structures. And now I should play, I guess, the way the black side of the King's Indian would be. Knight to e2, and then you move your knight back, and you play pawn f4, and the game continues in King's Indian style. I played knight to a4, and this was because I knew about this variation called the Yugoslav variation. Again, usually played with the black pieces. and so black has his knight out on a5. If you can imagine, well, the pawn structure is similar but opposite, and he has to worry about b4 winning his knight on a5. So he plays c5, and so b4 is on. Anyway, so I'm playing it with colors reversed, and having extra move is always good. He played knight to d7. So now he's presumably, I thought at least, that he's threatening b5, winning the knight. And of course, so I have to play c4. And then after he played a6, I realized that he is going to play b5. My knight has nowhere to go. I had to play b3, or so I thought. And that knight on b2 that's worse than the famous disgraced Spanish knight that black has on a5 usually in those Ruy Lopez's. So I played a b3. Now it turns out, and I've seen this. I haven't gone over this game before. A few weeks ago actually. It turns out that it's not so clear cut. Black isn't really threatening to just win a piece for nothing. White can play e5, and opening up this long diagonal makes things less clear cut. But I didn't see any of that. All I could see is b5 is winning a knight, and I played b3. He played b5, and I'm relegated to what a terrible square that is. And I was so depressed. I'm playing Emery Tate with the white pieces, and I have a knight that isn't going to get anywhere relevant for several moves. I was depressed. So knight to b2, rook to b8. And this is a good example what to do when you have extra space. What is extra space good for? Well, and you'll see this in a few moves. The side with extra space gets to use the third rank for rooks, and they get to move up and over. This happened, or it could have happened, but extra space is a good thing to have, specifically for rooks and third rank altogether. So now I should play just knight to d2 and play f4. I can't believe, but it may be so, that I was afraid that he would never play e5. Not logical, but what do you do if you think he'll never play e5? You play bishop. Now he can't resist. So e5, not good. Yeah, so now I'm minus 28. It's not that bad. I think minus 28, people will tell me that means it's even. So why not give away a couple tempos? Okay, so bishop d2, now h6, bishop h3, with the idea that my white squared bishop is my bad bishop, and so exchange it. I'm quite a bit better than I was when this game was played, and I understand that just because your bishop is blocked by pawns on the same color doesn't mean it's going to be forever a bad bishop, and bishops are to be respected. So I may not have played this game nowadays. I might not have been in such a hurry to trade off the white bishops. But I played bishop h3. He castled. And knight h4, and so this is standard attack the base of the pawn chain stuff. Queen e7, queen e2, knight to d8. The computer didn't like that move. But now f4 is the plan, of course. But of course, the little matter of my knight on h4 hanging after the g pawn recaptures on f4, this was a problem. Now the right move, the computer says, and it seems obvious to me, is knight to g2 followed by f4. I saw a very clever move, I thought at least, was bishop. And it turns out that this is the computer's second choice, and so it's not. I wasn't far off. And so now, when f4 is played and the exchange happens, the bishop defends the knight on h4. So there was a plan. And now here's Emery using his extra space. And the fact that rooks move sideways loomed large later on in this game. So I play f4. Now the computer, I think, recommends, what do they like? Instead of f4, well, they don't like what he played. He exchanged. And I take back, and sure enough, my knight isn't hanging. I was very proud of that. And I have a big pawn center now. So I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking about here, but I think if I had been objective, I would say, okay, my knight's on b2, and that's not a good thing, but a big pawn center is a good thing. I can scoot my king out of the way and play the rook. I know I have to watch out for a bishop on this long diagonal. Maybe bishop to g3. This rook has to go do something. White's pieces should, other than the knight on b2, should be okay. But it went south. Spoiler alert. Okay, he played bishop to b6. Another move the computer doesn't care for. I think they liked a4. And one of the ideas here is to try to clarify the pawn structure, so maybe a square opens up for this knight. So for instance, after a4, if black pushes, white could play a5 attacking the knight and open up the a4 square for his knight. It doesn't look like a great square, it's true. Better than b2. But he played bishop to b7, and I didn't find a4. I played knight f3. And I think, what was my idea there? Well, I wanted to play bishop a5. Can't do it because my knight hangs, right? So I moved my knight back. As I remember, he played f5 pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, he's opening the long diagonal. And the computer does recommend a bishop a5, and then he moves his rook somewhere. I played bishop h4, and now, and this is where the extra space could have happened. The computer really likes the g5 move, and it looks like black is outgunned on the g5 square. I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces on it, and he's got just 2. But of course, the rook coming over to g6 makes things very dicey for white. Anyway, Emery didn't play that. He played just bishop f6. And I took, and he took. And I want to say another thing about when one side has a bad piece. The side without the bad piece ordinarily wouldn't worry about exchanging. He wouldn't exchange the bad piece. But the exchanging the other pieces sort of makes the lack of the one piece a little bit more obvious. If one of your pieces is good and the other piece is no good, 50% of your pieces doing stuff. Whereas if you have 6 pieces, one of which is doing nothing, then not sure what the percentages are, but you're better off. Anyway, so Emery wasn't afraid of exchanging off the bishops, whether they were the good or bad or whatever. Anyway, so now I played knight e5. So dangerous threat of knight to g6, winning the exchange. Of course, you don't get to move 2 pieces in a row, or move twice in a row. And Emery played fe. Yeah, this should move it. He took it. And this is when I realized that knight to g6 is going to be met by queen to g7. E3 is going to happen. And I wasn't objective here. The computer says, first of all, I'm worse. I'm quite a bit worse. I think it's, yeah, well, it says only minus 113. That's not bad. Anyway, so the computer says, yeah, DE is best. Um, I guess I was sort of mesmerized by Emory or something. I actually resigned here. Uh, that's a little embarrassing. Um, yeah, I mean, DE is a good move. Mostly, of course, it maintains material equality, but it clears the D3 square for this stupid knight that I've had all the game. And so if I don't get mated, immediately, uh, I have no bad pieces anymore. Anyway, so this is just one of many games I played Emery, and for the most part, I went down without a fight. So I apologize for that. Um, anyway, okay, so thanks for watching. I got an opening for you. Again, if your rating is from 1,000 to 1,500, I'm certain that this will bump your rating up several hundred points. It did me, and like Donald Trump used to say, I almost got tired of winning. So check me out next time on Chess for Closers. See ya.